The world is probably real, but for sure, even more real since you're hearing the words I'm talking about the Earth being real. Because if Uriah is real, and you're hearing the words I'm saying makes you real, which means Uriah's Earth is real. Episode number 3 of Uriah's Earth was set to transform your worldview by offering facts that were implausible yet relatable to the human spirit, even if the firefighter extinguishes the human spirit in the form of his fire hose. But our plans to travel down to the jungle, where we swing from joke to joke, city to city, fact by fact. However, in these challenging times, it was the anticipation of actually going to the jungle, which was the biggest vine in the form of an obstacle, that turned into a hurdle, and we were unable to swing the hurdle on the vine of the obstacle, which was the biggest obstacle for us to accomplish, which we didn't, which makes us failures. This episode was supposed to be Uriah Joke's Earth Division, going down to the jungle. But a few days before we were set sail to the jungle, my crewmates got so excited about being the first crew to ever document the jungle that they got self-inflicted jungle fever, failing their COVID tests. Achoo! So instead of venturing to a land where Tarzan is the leading cause of deforestation, we'll get up in a hot air balloon fueled entirely by green energy, telling lies, talk about blowing hot air, which is what is used to fuel a hot air balloon. And we will take that hot air balloon to another world where no one has ever gone to via hot air balloon, because it's millions of miles. We're going to the land of cocoa tea, Peru. Peru is home to anyone who calls it home. Whatever you are, a person, a place, or a thing. RSTLNE. You got 5 seconds to talk it out. Peru is a place where you don't have to buy a vowel to solve the puzzle, because its riddle is a symphony in the form of an ancient wonder for the modern world, which is why it's home to one of the 7 wonders of the world. The hot air balloon trip took about 6 months, which was 2 months quicker than how we thought it was going to be. But the lasting memories of running out of lies to tell and crash landing in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, where we were forced to listen to a man play the ukulele, those memories will be with us forever, even if they don't want them to. They're the type of memories that even dementia can't even conquer. And I guess it was ironic that we all went crazy in a basket. Talk about being a basket case. Once me and my team were in Peru, I fired the unpaid intern who was playing the ukulele to the cheers of the staff and locals. I then paid the border guys to deport him to the nation of Alberta, where he will really find out what it's like for a ukulele to be appreciated. And I swear that if it was about to be world peace and someone started playing a ukulele, let's go down to one of the 7 wonders of the world. One that I personally visited twice, and the only thing I wondered is if it is a wonder of the world where they limit how many people visit it, maybe they should only be able to visit it once, like going to the Hamilton play or Paris. Machu Picchu is made up of more than 150 buildings ranging from baths and houses to temples and sanctuaries. One of the most recent buildings is a fabulous renovated bathroom where they make you pay a quarter and you get a couple sheets of toilet paper. And when I was there, I wish I didn't use my last quarter on the well, causing the boy stuck in the well to get a concussion. Should have wished for another quarter, I guess. Now wish for the wonder of the world to be a giant wonder, where you crack the piece of chocolate open only to find a nesting doll of chocolate. Which is why I no longer have faith in God, because if God created this wonder of the world, then I wonder where the chocolate is. The chocolatiers, the musketeers, the three musketeers must be rolling in their graves. When I was in Peru, I went with my school and I was in grade 9. We went there and helped underprivileged youths learn how to play hockey because all they do is play soccer. And when we were teaching them how to play hockey, they taught us how to make cocaine. Two great cultures, Canada and Peru, colliding in the fashion that only drugs and sports can do, bringing people together for the common purposes of forgetting about how boring our lives actually are. Whoa, look at that bird! Most people have their first drink by drinking grain alcohol on a farm or in a basement with a bad role model. I never ever was someone's role model until my identity was stolen. So I had my first drink in an Inca village of Cusco, and it was an Irish coffee, which is the most ridiculous order of a first drink ever had. But that means my first drink was in a foreign country, which makes me as good as anything when it comes to a culture. I know drinking culture, and I did my drinking culture in another culture, which makes me a cultured white person. That's right, my white privilege points have gone down 5, which makes me no longer gluten-free. Get me a bagel! There are 3 official languages in Peru. Spanish and the other 2 are hard to say out loud, and because my white privilege and white guilt meter just was lowered to 20, which would have required me, if I said those words, to become a freak. And we can't talk about Peru without talking about the cock of the rock. Why are you bleeping that word? It's called the cock of the rock. I can't tell if my humor about animals is childish, or if childish is the form of humor that I get when I talk about animals. But think about how confusing those words is. How about let's conclude that any humor is good humor when you're an animal, which I am. A human animal. Regarded as one of the world's best bird watching destinations, especially if you're a bird, Peru ranks second highest in terms of unique bird species, with new species constantly being discovered. And that means that Peru sometimes is the first highest in terms of birds if the birds are in the cocoa fields. Which reminds me of when I was on a bus and heard 2 people having a conversation about endangered species dying, and one of the young adults made an astute observation that even though species die every day, we find new ones every day. Just like how I tell jokes every day that kills the mood of a date, I always have another joke that will probably kill another mood on the date. The cock of the rock is the country's national animal and nature's best comedic improver that's toured all around Peru. And this spectacularly covered bird is found deep within the cloud forest. The forests that exist that are so high that they are in the clouds, which makes most of the birds' minds in the clouds, which makes them the cock of the clouds. These birds spend their days doing typical bird stuff like jumping up and down branches, baying and raining and squeaking all day long. These guys are birds, man. They're not parrots. They're not parakeets. I can't talk to them because they're the cock of the rock. And I'm the cock of the block. Let's stop talking about birds to save my dating life, and we'll move back into the city of Lima, Peru. There are over 12 million stray dogs and cats in Peru, which has led to many turf wars on who owns the underground card games, including blackjack and poker. This flourishing underground ecosystem, or should I say a flourishing underground catnap market, well, that doesn't make any sense, but what does make sense is who counts the cards, and who counts the cards makes the money. And the cats are scratching up the wrong tree here while the dogs bark up the tree as well. The cats are currently winning the battle because they have 9 lives, which wreaks havoc, causing the dogs to continue to bark up the tree. Lima is the largest city in the capital of Peru, but most of the tourists quickly skedaddle to the wonder of the world in Cusco, completely missing the triumphant turf-filled battle between the barks and the scratchers. We had video proof of this turf war, but the policia, which is how they say police there, policia, which I won't say anymore. Oh no, my white privilege points just went up 1. Stole our memory cards, offering us to give them back, but then I forgot where to pick them up. But I do have this exclusive, never before heard, never before seen, never before reiterated in the earth of time that we all are in, the microcosm of humor. I met in a back alley where the sounds of cat howls must drive the nightmares down to the rats who live their own nightmare. So I spoke with one of the leaders of this underground catnip ring, and here you go, play the clip. First of all, I want to say thank you for meeting me here. It is a little bit odd just sitting in this cat tree like this, but I will adapt to your cultures, which makes me an adaptable man. No, I'm actually I'm trying to cut back, if you know what I mean. Okay, I guess one won't hurt. Plus, it will make this a perfect interview. Eventually learned after my very long trip down to Peru, and I'm not just talking about the multi-months to get there and the multi-months cat bender that I went on. What I learned is that regardless of whether or not you call yourself a journalist and lining up an underground interview with a cat that probably may never existed because you're on catnip to begin with, all that I realize is that if you're in an interview and you are offered catnip and you take it, and you take it again for months on end, that when you finally come to and you realize the reality of the new world that you have created, URIAH'S Earth 2, the electric catnip boogaloo, it means that you still have to pay for that catnip, but then you realize that regardless of how few dollars you have in your pocket, you can always barter with a kitty cat. And when you're in this dazed and cloud, drug-filled of the catnip, where you yourself have fully transformed into the worst form of yourself possible, remember, always rebook a return ticket so you don't have to go back through the hot air balloon by yourself because I keep telling lies. So I brought a mirror so I can lie to myself right to my face, and that purified my lies, making me go all the way to the earth where I conquered Uriah's Earth. I am now the king of Earth.